For many, owning their own house with a white picket fence is their dream. Others have weirder dreams. Whether it's out of necessity, ambition, or sheer desire not to conform, some people lean instead towards obscure, incredible, or even dangerous living alternatives. Today we have for you the world's most unusual houses. Let's get it on! Mountaintop Mansion. Have you ever wanted the peace and seclusion that comes from a mountaintop lodge, as well as the convenience and activity that comes with city living? Well, one eccentric Chinese professor decided he wanted both with no compromise. In 2016, residents of an apartment block in Beijing began to raise concerns and complaints. Some mentioned that the walls and ceilings of the apartments were cracking. Others said there were ridiculous waiting times for the elevators, and that they saw large amounts of building materials and stone being transported to the building's roof. After the regular complaints became more frequent and demanding, the local authorities began to look into them. Upon investigation with aerial drone footage, it was discovered that someone had converted the apartment block's penthouse into an artificial mountaintop. The owner of the apartment, a man by the name of Zhang Lin, had secretly spent the past 6 years transporting boulders, trees, rubble, and other construction materials to the roof to build his very own secret mansion that appeared to be cut into the summit of a mountain. Zhang had expanded and modified his home so much that it now included a second story, a sun terrace, a pool, a vineyard, and a garden, all spanning the size of 2 basketball courts. This immense rooftop retreat had actually gone unnoticed for years. However, as Zhang continued to expand, the weight of his home began to jeopardize the structural integrity of the apartment block it rested on. Residents noticed the damage, and he was found out. It seems that this homeowner didn't have the foresight to request approval for his mountaineering hobby, and it wasn't long before a demolition order was filed. That being said, it took him 6 years to carry up all that rock. It'll take a while for them to take it all down again. Missile Silo. The prayers of millionaire doomsday preppers were answered when the US government began selling off their old, unused missile silos. Though the idea may seem a little unusual, many have jumped at the idea of buying and refurbishing their own underground silos and making them into a home despite the hefty price tag that comes along with it. There are several silo homes on the market, including one in New York, going cheap for a measly $750,000. At first glance, the property appears to be an unassuming wilderness retreat, but beneath the surface, there is a 40-meter stairwell that opens to 2 private suites, a contemporary kitchen, dining room, entertainment room, and marble-lined bathrooms, complete with a jacuzzi across 2 floors that was once a launch control center. Or if you prefer a more communal feel, the Survival Condo project is an underground, apocalypse-ready apartment building made by converting a Cold War-era silo into a vertical living space. There are 15 floors divided into 12 single-family homes. Starting from $1.5 million, the homes offer features like LED windows, showing what's happening up on ground level, and ample space for up to 10 people. On the non-residential levels, residents can enjoy a gourmet market, a library, movie theater, rock climbing wall, gym, and a pool, all while being self-sustaining with farm space. Unusual? Maybe. Successful? Definitely. The developer is currently building 2 more silos to meet demand, as the first sold out before construction finished. For those that value security and solitude, it's an unusual but perfect place to live. Invisible Treehouse. Have you ever forgot where you left your keys? Well, that may be the least of your worries if you live in our next house. These occupants also face the reality of forgetting where their house is, because this one is practically invisible. If you're in Sweden and you're looking for some quirky accommodation, why don't you consider the Tree Hotel? They have plenty of strange rooms for you to stay in during a Scandinavian holiday, such as a bird's nest or a UFO. But it's the mirror cube that's the most unusual and unique. Hanging 30 feet in the air amid a thick forest, this cube-shaped treehouse is covered by mirrors on all sides, making it almost indistinguishable from the trees it's suspended from and the skyline it looks over. Luckily, the way to get inside is clearly visible. To enter, you'll need to climb a suspended rope bridge. Tree Hotel employees themselves explain, "The way up is an experience in itself. Stairs and landings take visitors closer to the clouds step by step. As you reach the treetops, with views of the Lula River, you have arrived at your destination. Once inside, you'll have a kitchenette, queen bed, and a bathroom. The coolest feature, however, may be the upper outdoor deck that offers views of the forest from a perch not visible from the ground. Just imagine spending a peaceful night, watching the northern lights in solitude in this unusual hideaway. Just make sure the hotel owners show you where it is before you hand over the money. It'll cost you just under 500 euros a night to stay in the Mirror Cube. Perhaps a small price to pay for such an experience, but most importantly, it comes with Wi-Fi and breakfast included. Desert Dugout. The vast majority of the Australian population lives on the country's beautiful, beachy coastlines, because the center of the country is mostly a harsh, uninhabitable desert. Miners are some of the only people who brave the outback, and mining for precious opal gems is the reason why the town Coober Pedy was established. Hopeful miners would show up and start digging big holes, hoping to find a great gem that would make them rich. Unfortunately, many came up empty-handed, but what they did find was that it was much cooler underground in their mines than it was on the surface, where the temperature regularly exceeds 40 degrees Celsius. Before long, the people of Coober Pedy begun transforming these dugout mines into sandstone caves that they then lived in, which they continue to do now a century later. With an average temperature of 22 degrees Celsius inside the dugouts, it keeps the town's population cool and saves money on air conditioning. Yes, the town has normal houses, but the underground homes are so common that there's now underground museums, hotels, churches, and pools. Despite living in a quiet, cool, affordable home, what else is a great perk of living in one of these desert dugouts? Renovating and expanding is a piece of cake. Need another shelf? Dig a hole in the wall. A walk-in wardrobe? Dig a big hole. Another bedroom? Not a problem. And there's always the off chance of finding some opal as you do. Boeing 747 House. Have you ever dreamt about traveling in your own private jet? It's a luxury many of us hope for, but will never experience. However, would you ever live in one permanently? Bruce Campbell is one of those people, but with a twist, as he converted a Boeing fuselage into his very own home. He lives a very simple life inside his unusual house. The grounded plane features a number of rooms and electrical fittings, and everything you'd expect to find in a normal house, such as a shower, kitchen, bathroom, and a working space. The only difference is he enters his house through a retractable set of stairs, and has daily chores that involve sweeping leaves off the immense set of wings attached to his bedroom. Yes, this is an unusual home to live in, but he's definitely not complaining about his 42-meter-long home. Honestly, it's just plain impressive. Psst, hey, you still there? Well, since you made it this far, here are all the shoutouts we promised everyone that commented on our previous video. If you want to be shouted out in our next upcoming video as well as the ones prior, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave a comment down below saying, "Pick me!" Once you're at it, you might as well leave a like too. Thanks for watching!